HighBridge, a division of Recorded Books, presents The Infidel Stain by M.J. Carter. Read by Alex Wyndham. Prologue. The still, quiet shop was a blessed shelter from the biting cold. She had risen at 4 to walk the 6 miles to Hackney Road and back, and all the way she had held on to that half hour when she would creep in, fall gratefully into a dark corner, shut her eyes, and cast aside her cares. Sometimes she thought it was the place she liked best in the world, not just for the refuge it provided, but also because of the old familiar odours, the smell of ink, of lampblack and linseed oil, the musty dry scent of paper, and the tools, the boxes of type and gravers and burins. She did not like to come too often, for she did not want him to grow tired of her, and so she had waited and stored up this morning's visit. He never seemed to mind finding her, though, not even when at the start she had taken things. Not much, but enough to land her a week in the correctional house. A bit of paper or an empty box or a piece of type that she would rub between her fingers. He had shown her how to get in so no one could see, and sometimes when he was opening up, he would send her out to the coffee stall and have her buy one for herself. The street was quite empty. The coffee seller was still on the Strand, serving the late-nighters and early morning-comers. She made her way past the darkened shop front, into the alley around the side, behind the outside steps that led to the door of their living quarters. Under these, and out of sight of prying eyes, she cleared the bricks away from the little square door, took the small key tied to a bit of string from out of her skirts, placed it in the rusted lock, and turned it. Squatting down on her haunches, she edged through. She did not crawl, as it messed her skirts and her basket, and she would be selling today. There was a small cavity between the little door and the print room where they stored boxes and type, and having inched her way through the gap, she came out into the room at last. It was very dark. She stood and brushed herself down. Dawn would not come for a while. The front was shuttered, and the cracked window in the back had been blacked out. He had taken to doing this recently, claiming that it stopped the cold, but she reckoned he was working on something he wished no one to see. She knew the room well, so she was not concerned, and it was a relief to be out of the wind which whistled outside, looking for ways through the cracks. Arms outstretched, she began to walk toward the far wall, taking care not to disturb any boxes. To the right of her she could just make out the silhouette of the press. In the darkness it seemed to loom even bigger than usual. Her boot slid out from under her, and for a moment she lost her balance and thought she would fall. She swore quietly as she righted herself and clung to her basket. The floor was wet. She lifted her skirt, took another big step, and grimaced. It was slippery here too. Perhaps a cat or a rat had knocked over some ink. No, he would not have been so careless to have left any lying around. Maybe one of his old workers had broken in to sleep off the night's excesses and knocked over a bottle or spewed up or worse. He was accustomed to working on his own, but once in a while a writer or illustrator or printer came in to help, soakers and topers, the lot of them.
"That you, Seymour?"
she said.
"You drunk?"
But there was no answer.
"Mr. Wedderburn? Nat?"
Standing there in the dark, she began to feel uneasy. She realized, holding her breath. And there was an unfamiliar smell, acrid and sharp. It made her eyes water. Some instinct told her to lay her hands upon something solid, and she took a quick step back, feeling for the wall. But she lost her balance and went down, one hand reaching out to break her fall, the other grasping the basket. Her hand was wet, and the stuff was all over her skirt. She cursed again and rubbed her fingers together. Sticky, slightly thick even. Not piss then, nor booze either. She sniffed and pulled herself up quickly, keeping clear of the great piece of machinery in the middle of the room. The sense of foreboding deepened, and the thought came upon her that there was someone else there, in the dark. Fear rose in her. Quickly, quietly, though it was too late for that, she knew, she felt her way around the walls to the back window. The tool bench stood before it. She put her basket upon it and felt for an engraving tool, something sharp. Then she stretched up to pull the piece of old blanket away from the window frame, feeling herself exposed as she did so. The sky was just beginning to lighten, and the room was suddenly a good deal brighter. Her fingertips and palms were stained with something black like ink. But she knew it was not ink.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?